Hi friends, I'm the vegan. I make a new fruit salad, and I like to make fruit salads, especially because other than talking about the wonderful magic of these colorful things, the fruit, yeah, they're so amazing. Yeah. Other than that, I like to make these salads because it is so easy to use their flavors and textures as a seasoning with each other. It's a natural way of seasoning without using herbs and spices. I mean, I like herbs and spices. They are amazing. They are super healthy. The second healthiest food we have are herbs and spices. First is greens, vegetables, greens, herbs and spices, and then fruit. So we have a really super healthy food. But the fruit have the thing, they have these wonderful flavors, exciting flavors. You know, we began with pear salad today. Yeah, this is a wonderful flavor. It's very complex, very characteristic. You always understand pear flavor, you know, that is really well known. And there are so many different kinds of pears. This one is beautiful. It's right in season, it's autumn, the pear time. And they have a bitter flavor at the outside, inside very sweet. But this sweetness, you know, we have so many different kinds of sweetness. Apple sweetness, orange sweetness, pear sweetness, peach sweetness, strawberry sweetness. The sweetness is endless, you know. It's the endless variety of fruit flavors. And this one is characterized by this bitter flavor in the peel, you know. And I like this peel here. It's a very thin peel. You can easily eat it, doesn't matter, no problem. It's very ripe and very juicy. And I seasoned it today with raspberries. That's pretty much the opposite flavor, I would say. Yeah. It's very sweet and sour, very strong flavor, also very characteristic, and it is heavenly raspberry flavor. Everybody knows it. The little seeds in the raspberries, you cannot just blend it up because then the seeds get a little bit scratchy in the throat. They're very different kinds of fruit. These raspberries have been frozen, but you can take fresh ones. They are very expensive, of course. The ones that are frozen are very inexpensive and always available, and the nutritional benefits are pretty okay. Yeah, you have almost the same, sometimes even frozen is sometimes even higher in certain nutrients like vitamins than fresh, because they take them from the field directly into the freezer. Nothing gets lost when it's fresh. They stay on the shelf for a while until you buy them. Yeah, if you don't harvest them yourself from the garden. Although in the shop you get them always a little bit lower in nutrients than when fresh frozen. So there is a certain advantage of frozen. But not all the aspects are covered here by this scientific view. We have a holistic view, is always different, but we don't talk about that now, not too much into detail. Just saying, frozen is very good, that's cool. Yeah. So now I put the pears together with the raspberries. And I have the frozen raspberries, I have them thawed a little bit before I put them in, though you could eat them frozen. I like a little bit more fresh. Frozen, a little like an ice cream. They have your little ice cream pieces in the pear salad. To me that's a little bit too extreme. The pears, they don't like the extreme so much. You can, but usually the pear is a very gentle flavor, and there is a nice seasoning already from the strong flavor of the raspberries. Frozen is also always a little bit more sour than fresh. Yeah. Here. But frozen, the cold, the ice cream with the pear would maybe be a little bit too much of extreme, but that's up to you. There are some a little bit cold in there still, but the main is thawed. So this is the main part of the fruit salad. This is seasoning from the pear with the raspberry. And now I make a little bit of cream for dressing, and that is also something that I would season with the raspberry and the pear. And this is a persimmon. You see it's very ripe, you know, very juicy, very soft already. And I have 2 persimmons here. Persimmons are one of my favorite fruit because you can eat persimmons and the whole meal. Yeah. Seems to me they are so rich in nutrients and fiber, high in fiber, that they make you full and satisfied. That's very nice. So I have 2 persimmons here, very ripe, and a small handful of hazelnuts. So also a strong nut flavor, and edgy, I would call it, as compared to cashews, for example. Almonds. Almonds are a little bitter. And they have a little extremeness and the bitterness from the almonds. But the hazelnuts are not bitter at all. They are rather like earth flavor a little bit. Yeah, from the forest, from the wood. I taste the wood, the tree, the bush where the hazelnut grows. I taste it in the nut. It's this dry, kind of edgy flavor of the hazelnut. Very, very characteristic. You all know it's a very nice flavor, and it's also to season the persimmon. Persimmon is gentle and sweet, and it can do with a lot of seasoning. Different seasoning you can put into there. And I will make it a little bit sweeter with some dates. Not too many, because the dry date makes the persimmon pudding very firm. Shouldn't be too firm, should be a dressing for the salad. So a little bit of water goes in there, not too much. I can always add later for the texture to change it. So blender dance. Took a little longer to blend it up because of the hazelnuts mainly. And you know, the persimmon, I said, is an amazing fruit also because of this. If you blend the persimmon, it turns into a really different texture. It is so soft and so juicy that you would expect it turns into a cream or something like a liquid almost. But no, if you blend the persimmon all by itself, very ripe and sweet and soft and juicy, it turns up into a pudding-like texture. And that's because of the fiber. Fiber is one of the main ingredients in all plants. Yeah. Fiber are only in plants. Yeah. And they make it really healthy, so we have to eat whole food because of the fiber. You know, whole food plant-based diet is the healthiest diet, and the fiber is the reason for the whole thing. Yeah. Main reason, yeah, fiber. And there are lots to say about fiber. I just wonder if I have to make a little bit runnier. I will taste. I don't think so. I taste it just to make sure. Oh yeah, it's wonderful. It's a real pudding. It's like a pudding. You see, that's what happens to the persimmon, like a persimmon pudding. I will put it now into the salad. I taste it. I do it. Let's see. I show you what it looks like. And I guess it might be nice because we have these juicy pears and the juicy raspberries here. I need a little bit of something to get everything out because it's not runny anymore. It's like a pudding, as I said, and we put the pudding into the pears. We're excited now with a little experimentation here. I thought it would be runnier for like a dressing, and sometimes in a fruit salad I want the dressing runny. In most fruit salads actually. But this is a fruit salad very special. It has only one main ingredient. That's the pear. It's a bulk here. And the smaller part of the raspberries, they are more like a seasoning, as I said before. They are very runny. So maybe with one ingredient, like the pear, it might be possible to put the dressing, a very thick dressing here. And as the raspberries make it even runnier. And it looks very nice here. The experiment seems to work. Oh yeah. It's like if you have let's say a pudding, and you stir in like cherries with the juice. You know what happens. Everybody does it. You get a serve of pudding for dessert, and put some fruit on top, and then people stir it and eat it. That's similar here. It seems to be very nice because the pudding has a very nice texture. This persimmon pudding here is amazing. I will definitely make it again. hazelnut persimmon pudding. Yeah? You can season it with cinnamon or whatever you like. But this one looks so nice. Didn't plan for that. It's very firm pudding texture. I would usually not use in a fruit salad, but here it looks amazing. It's wonderful. I'll put it into my little bowl, have my perfect breakfast here. You can of course use that also as a dessert, of course, but to me, as I said, the persimmon is this wonderful magic fruit that is can be a whole meal. And here, of course, I have a whole breakfast with this. See the little dots here? That's the raspberries. And they season the whole thing now. They season the pudding as well as the pears. So I'm very excited now. The pear also is perfect together with persimmon. They are pretty similar in the flavor. They have a gentle flavor here on the pear side and a gentle flavor there on the persimmon side. Both are juicy when ripe and very sweet. And that's the same thing. But the whole difference is when you blend up the pear, yeah, it is runny, creamy. Blend up a persimmon, it is pudding-like. There is a difference very clearly. The high fiber of the persimmon is a big difference, and the difference is also in the flavor. The flavor is very sweet in the persimmon. There's nothing bitter in there, almost. Yeah. And on the pear side, you have this bitter flavor in the peel. So that's a big difference. And there are some persimmons, actually, that also have a bitter and tart flavor in the peel, but these ones you have to peel. You can't eat that. There's a very tart flavor sometimes in some kinds of persimmon. There are basically two kinds of them. I always get the sweet one, where the peel is sweet and not bitter. And the other one is where the tart one is, you just peel them. You can't eat them. That is too much, too tart. Yeah. So basically persimmon is always sweet. That's a big difference between pear and persimmon, but there are much more similarities, so they have a nice relationship, pears and persimmons. I will definitely do more on hazelnuts, pears, persimmons, and so on. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy my little talks here about fruit and veggies and how to eat them, how to season them, how they get into your daily meal plan. Or does it make you full or satisfied, or is it just a snack or so? These kind of things. I'm very interested in that, and the whole flavor thing and color thing and texture thing. So all these things, what an ingredient is like. Yeah. Not only nutritionists, but also from the color and these kind of things. I'm very interested in that because I think that is the big door that veganism opens, other than on the negative side, that we don't eat animals anymore, that we don't harm the planet, that we do no harm anymore with veganism. The big harm that we do is by harming animals and nature with that, with our food choices. So this is the main part, of course, yeah, for now. But once we are all vegan, more and more we understand that this is an endless variety of flavors, textures, colors, and fragrances. There's so much to explore in plants. Yeah, wonderful. That's what I'm interested in mainly. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy, as I said, and maybe you want to subscribe and be vegan on YouTube. Have another recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter.